Hey there, Gemini. Is it the story of your life that let's start again? Yeah. So we're getting ready to work over there, and then they started to put in construction to fill in two holes, giant holes that had been washouts from the heavy rain. So maybe that's the symbol here is in your soul. Look at this little beetle guy. Oh my gosh, he is just trudging along. You see how tiny he is? Look at that on this sand. He's just moving right along. But maybe there's been immense grief and sorrow, and it's not just Gemini's sun. We all have Gemini in our chart, and you can see which house that is in and what some of the conditions of that house are. Like first house has to do with self, second house can have to do with possessions, pleasure, things like that. Third house, extended family members. Fourth house, immediate family in the home. On and on and on. Okay, so you could just Google whatever that house means and see, does that resonate with where it's been impacting you? But irregardless, you've been through lots of sorrow and you're like, yeah, why did I come to this planet? And it seems that no one here knows me and understands the experience of this life that I came to live. Who can I talk to about this stuff? You know, I have lots of feelings. Let me scooch this back a bit. There we go. And I want to connect with people on a deep, meaningful soul level. But a lot of times I sell myself out and sell myself short by meeting up with whoever's just seemingly available at the time. And I adjust and I adapt to whatever their vibe is, whatever their passions and their pleasures are, and I lose myself in them and often can become self-sacrificial. Now there's some Geminis that you be confuggery and shizdizzery of going in and shape-shifting and playing roles in order to take advantage. All right. So moving out of that energy, and how do we do that? You can't just go through saying, well, I'm not going to do that to somebody, you know, because if somebody abused you, then you're going to be the abused. That's life university and continuing to have to learn lessons and have tests and trials in order to prove your worth. And there's nothing to prove. And there's no worth about it. You are valuable. It's beyond worth. Worth is decided by the market, decided by others. Value is intrinsic to who you are. Value, my friend, is intrinsic to who you are. And I know you are valuable. Why? You are here. You are here to experience this life from your perspective. Look at that. So they're like, set out on that adventure. Because like, look in here, it can often be portrayed like, who's my lover? Who's the best friend? Who's the people group that I'm gonna get along with? And they're like, you don't have to be floating around that deep sea misery right there. You can come on up and get on out into this world that we are in now. Look at this. These are like the poles of the Gemini. And what happens in between, it's like a lens into a whole new world. You're not selling it out to others. You're like packing up, taking out an adventure. You got a plan here. You got a little bit of money set aside for this. You got a vision going on. Not sure what it is you're looking for, but you're following your heart. You're following your truth. You're following your spirit. Look at the magic springing up from there. Just because what feeds your soul looks different than what feeds everybody else doesn't mean it's something that should be hidden or something that's wrong. Look, all right, y'all, crazy hair, beach hair, don't care. Let me get into finding where the split was. So when I had to pack up because of the dump truck, a split occurred. Okay, so what it's talking about is what was hidden in here that's kind of tucked away in the middle is that value. Knowing your importance. You're not a trash panda, so it's not lowering yourself down, dumbing and crumbing, okay, to get through other people's waste, what they're willing to offer you. They're like, strike out on your own. Be yourself, friend. You don't have to fall into what the world is selling you what it is. And I think that could be the difficulty of Gemini. Gemini is otherworldly. It is the spirit, the divine connection. It's the realm of possibilities, the open opportunity of possibilities of what's to come. And a lot of it can't even have words put on it. And that's the difficulty is you start trying to communicate with another and get on the same page. And when they're not quite getting you, they're not being mean or harsh or whatever. And so you know that. And so you're like, well, let me just kind of go to where their understanding is. And they're saying, no. Ace of Swords showing up going, don't do that. You think that that's a good idea? You think that that's a good idea? I don't think so. That begins to shrink your potential, and it takes you from this. This Eight of Cups is fantastic, y'all. See, it's that divine connection to yourself at all times, that it is not your job to connect energetically with other people here in order to validate your vision. Okay? Validation comes from value. You are valuable. Value your vision and watch it come to pass. Okay? As opposed to devaluing it and bringing it into just Pentacles here. You're showing like that earthy tactility of like someone else's understanding. Because then that begins to burden you and weigh you down. And then you're having to wait on somebody else to clean you up. And the reason you get nasty and dirty and just like all clogged up is because you're not flowing. Flowing at your rate, your electrical valve, your electricity wattage, right? So you have this dim bulb and it can lead to depression, dismal, despair, right? Star is here. It's like, you don't have to despair. You don't have to despair. See, this individual birds, they're like, it's not them flocking together. It's like you can go anywhere you want to go. This might seem blocked here because it's the world's ways. And thinking, well, let me get through there. Let me try and get through here. And you keep trying it different ways. They're like, why try? Be. This is showing up very much like, where you at, friend? Where'd you go? Are you in my lap? Let me see him. That spaceship is like you launching off to discover who you are, into this discovery of who you are, because you're here to experience yourself. And as you begin to step into that and realize it's because y'all are the one sign that's another human, right? And so you could try and find it in humanity, but they're saying find it in humanity. What is your hue? What is your color? All right, not just one aspect, the full spectrum of it. Step out and begin to taste and recognize what brings you delight. Because see, look, this octopus also has an earthy quality to it. It has the goldenness cup, the spiritual quality, deep spiritual roots, bringing abundant fruits. The moment you begin to discover who you are independently, separate from other people, not what makes you separate from other people, what makes you different? And not different like separating out, right? Because difference has to do with the negating aspect. What makes you unique? Unique, valuable, intrinsic, right? What you'll think about that now. And what I would say is you heal rapidly, you transform rapidly, you can move on rapidly. And it's almost like creating up these lessons and these setups in order to seem more human. No, baby, soar. From one human to another. I am rooting for you and giving you permission, not like you don't have it on your own, but if you didn't know you had your own permission to be amazing, to be powerful, to be beautiful, to be where you at. Divine, successful, enjoying yourself all up in your feels, not having to explain to anybody what it's like to be you. No. And then the invitations will come. And then you'll find it's people who are wanting to come up to your level, all right? And they won't be far away, I'll tell you that. Or it's people who already are at that level and they're recognizing, they're like, wait a second, I recognize this feeling. Let me approach them. Let me talk with them and see if there's a similar vibe here. But again, still maintain your individuality, yourself, your color, your vibration. It's never to be compromised. Compromise is a trick, y'all. It says, give me half your goods and we'll see if this works out. No. When you chop the baby in half, what do you have? Halves of a baby, right? So the thing is to stay whole. And just because you're double power, double human power, superhuman, it doesn't mean it's here to be sacrificed for others. Chopping things up, parsing things up. Where is it? Where'd you go? The dumbing things down. Remember that little hippo hunkering over? I don't know, maybe he already disappeared, but no, it's exalting, shining bright, coming forward, shining the light of who you are. Because remember, our sun is just a star. It's a star that is within reach, friend. And you're like, what do I think about that? And I'm thinking, let go of this, because this is not your Four of Swords. I know it says Two of Swords. But holding on to these things are like those poles and those pillars of the world's ideas of who you are and what will make you happy. They're like, shine and be fine, baby. You know what makes you happy because you know how you feel. All right? It's just breaking out of that cycle of the depression, of the washout, of the wash away. And remember how it said it comes in the blink of an eye. It's quick. It's like lightning. I mean, look. And you're like, well, I don't like the way that disconnect feels. I totally shut it off, and it's like I dehumanize myself. And it's like, no, just for a moment, it's a cleansing and a clearing of like, wow, I don't understand that, or that's as far as that person can go. Because if that's as far as they love themselves, that's as far as they can go. Because that's as far as they're willing to go, if that's as far as they're willing to grow. And it's not your job to take all y'all beautiful radiance and your amazing self and pour, P-O-O-R, P-O-U-R, into someone that's just going to hoard it. Scarcity, lack, fear. We can say unrighteousness, meaning not connected to the right mechanism, the righting mechanism. Okay? Because there's a righting mechanism, like when fish swim, they know which way is up, right? That means to set it right, to set it up. Just like a table, it's more appropriate for the legs to be on the floor and the surface to be up where we can sit and put our food, okay? It's things like that. It's how it works. So, not like you need to know that, but anyways, that brings in some new ideas. And the ideas that there's this whole system of knowledge that you have within yourself. Look at this divinity, all right? That you don't have to play into this chaos anymore. You could just step aside and be like, I'm going to go my own way. It's great. You want to follow, you want to come, but it's not my job to convince you. It's not my job to carry you. It's not my job to carry our supply just because I got the dunamis power, the exponential power, the double hump, the superhuman. Just because I'm a superhuman and can help save things isn't a reason to associate with the villain who's going to keep cooking up chaos, friend. Okay? Look at these. No more chaos. No abuser and abuse. Like, you won't understand why an abuser abuses, why a user uses. You're not going to understand it. Not unless you want to do it. Do you want to do that? Is that really what you want to do? It won't validate your human experience. Matter of fact, it'll go against your spirit. Gemini is here to live in that pure, perfect balance, in that center space. It is the comrade of Sagittarius, which is temperance. They work together in that beautiful unity, that space in between, to feel that pleasant peace and calm that belongs to you. You don't have to convert into words to sell to anybody else to help them out of their difficult situations. Because what I know with a lot of Geminis, there are people that are coming along that are fully capable of dealing with their situation. They would just much rather have you do it. Because if you do it, man, that sure means I don't have to do any effort or work, which means they don't grow. And after you're toeing the line and you're bringing it in for so long, eventually that rope will snap. Because it's simply because of the wear and tear. So it's like prolonging the grief and grieving yourself, because when you begin to diminish who you are, that is what it does. Now, Empress is amazing and divine, but Empress, it's not a queen, right? Because there are quite a few queens in the deck, but there's one Empress. And being that the Emperor can be stodgy and staid, it's like, who's going to go about and have fun with me? Who can I enjoy this with? And it'll often compromise its energy. And they've been teaching me about that. Oh, excuse me, I got an itch. The Empress narcissist bond that can occur. Those who had to grow up kind of as adult children. It used to be adult children of alcoholics, adult children of abusers. No, adult children mean you sort of had to raise yourself. All right? That what you came into is a strong karmic situation, and you had to begin to decide what is right for you and what is wrong for you. What fits, what doesn't, that type of thing. That it can put you in that ploy of a narcissist, of someone going, my happiness depends on you. So now I'm going to puppet you and master of puppet you and move you around and manipulate you and maybe passive, or as I like to call it, passive aggressive you, to get you to make me happy or think I'm happy. See, that's the purple around here. You have so much happiness in you. Don't betray it, Gemini. That is your divine right. Be happy. It is yours. And just like the sun shining blesses everything around it, it causes the things around it to grow that turn to the sun. Just be who you are. And those who are willing to grow and happy to help and all that, they just come along and join in. They don't latch on and begin to bark the finger You see why you turn your head? You're like, I don't know, I might regret this. I don't know if I want to be so fantastic. Let me turn around. Can I just leave this place? How do I hide in plain sight? How do I fix this? They're like, you don't. Just get on with your juicy, delicious, divine self. Celebrate the moments of your life, Gemini. Celebrate. I celebrate you. Always remember, I love you. Bye.